own DJ. Get realsies. Wicka wicka.
Normally, girls want to save money by using their iPod now because iPods are so popular. You know, they're wanting to bring in their iPods and hook them into the system, and little do they know they have to go and change every single song. So.
And then who's going to be the master of ceremonies?
Right, the MC and speak. And we all know how important the DJ's job actually is on a serious note, because they are the front person for your event. And so if they are not comfortable speaking on the mic, if they're not comfortable playing music back to back and having to switch between the two, speaking and also staying on time, it affects your event. And your guests do notice that.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, speaking about preferred vendors as a whole, you've got your photographer.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
I've had a couple of brides who, you know, had photographers that, you know, weren't wedding photographers. And so it took them a lot longer to set up a shot, and it's really wasting a lot of your ceremony day.
Right. 1, 2, 3, cheese. How many times have we heard that? Or it takes 15 minutes to set up one shot that's just bride's parents, bride and groom, and it's okay.
Should take just a second to.
And how many did you miss in between? You know, setting up, you could have missed one of the best candid shots because you were, you know, too busy not being a good professional, quick. You know, photographer.
And that brings up another point, another aspect for your wedding, as far as having a wedding planner that's professional and is not, you know, Aunt Sally or whatever. You need a wedding planner that can, if you do hire some kind of non-wedding photographer, that planner can pick up where he's leaving off and put the family members together for the shot so he can just take it. We've had to do that several times. I know that we have. You know, so it's just, again, hiring professional people. We've all come into play with the flowers. People thinking they can save money on flowers, and so they go wholesale, they go silk or fake. And
sometimes it's just as much as fresh.
Correct. Or they end up having to scramble 2 days before, or even on day of. We've seen, you know, people on day of, brides in the bride's room making their own flowers.
Or they come to you saying, I don't have time, can you put this
Right.
Well, they don't realize that, you know, fresh flowers you have to get the week of. You have to prepare them either the day before, and we don't, you know, as brides, you don't have time for that. Really, the week of your wedding should be focused on the wedding day and relaxing, and
family coming
you have family coming into town. Focus on that and not your flowers.
The last thing
I mean, you know, everyone knows
that.
We're trying to save money,
Absolutely.
you know, especially in times like this. Everybody's trying to save money, but I think the way that you do it has to be smart. Instead of doing the bouquets and the boutonnieres that take up a lot of time, do the centerpieces ahead of time. Maybe have a friend do them for you and bring them in for you, so it's something that you don't even have to worry about.
Or utilizing other things besides flowers. You know, you speak of centerpieces, using fruit, using anything. Candles. We all love Hobby Lobby. You know, anything you can find in there, floating candles, coloring the water. We've seen water with goldfish, and just all sorts of different things that you can do.
Some people have done, you know, actually bought centerpieces that they could take home with them and use later.
Absolutely.
You don't even discard it.
Or give to guests at the end of the night, which I think is a great gift, saying, you know, thank you for coming. Please take a centerpiece home at the end of the evening. So it's a nice thank you, especially for guests that come from out of town. I think that's a nice thing to do.
Well, and I think brides often don't realize that those kinds of things, especially flowers, affect more than just what you think. They affect your photography, they affect your room, they affect everything.
You think that involving your family members kind of cuts down on the budget and that kind of thing, but ultimately your family involving them in your wedding just ends up being a lot less stress or more stress on everybody.
Especially
disaster.
Like
the cake.
And if your aunt wants to make the cake, maybe refrain. If she's not a wedding cake baker, maybe ask her to make the groom's cake, because that's a great idea. Totally mess up.
3 tiers in the center of the. It looks like everybody. And then Aunt Lucy rolls the cake in and it falls, and then nobody can find Aunt Lucy, and it's just
it can, you know, with a groom's cake, like Jalen said, that can also be displayed and served at a rehearsal dinner, which is typically what the groom's cake is for anyway.
It gets more attention. I mean, the groom doesn't get much attention on the let's face it.
Right, exactly.
Gives done the hard attention on
That's
the
main topic.
But I definitely think there's ways to save money without doing everything yourself.
And shopping around too sometimes is just what you need, you know, just shop around. You don't have to go with a family member. to totally just alleviate costs altogether, but
hire a wedding planner.
Hire a wedding planner, or
do all the legwork for you.
Or book a facility. Again, you know, there's lots of facilities out there now that have their own preferred vendors that they have special deals and discounts with. So, you know, look for facilities like that that are all inclusive or one-stop shop kind of places that can help you right from the jump. And they're very familiar with the grounds and the people who work there and everything.
All the vendors.
You know, so that would be my biggest recommendation.
I know your facility does that.
Yeah, I mean, we were built for weddings, you know, so we don't really have anything else conflicting with, you know, that day, which is such a big day.
Oh my gosh, so many other places have, you know, 3 or 4 weddings going on, and then they're doing a private party.
Exactly, and we love working at your facility because you have so many different people in place. When we come, we're the planner, and we can just be with our bride because your facility has the event director who runs the reception, you have your own chef, you have your own wait staff. All of that is taken care of by the facility, as well as a lot of the time your brides use their preferred vendors at your facility. So it's very easy for them to just let go of that control, and we've got them on their end as far as all the girly stuff, and you guys have got them as far as all the details, which is really nice.
And it's great for us because we handle all your weddings. So you guys include that to the bride at no charge, which is amazing because most brides need a little bit of help.
Yeah, absolutely.
An event. I mean, I think we've all been to a wedding where there was a bad DJ.
You know, oh, it's your wedding day. That's right. I'm sorry. Congratulations.
Right, now back to me. Now back to me. Yeah, exactly.
So just make sure that you have professional vendors, and you know, of course, we're not trying to guide you to do so that you spend the highest dollar, but so that your day is what you want it to be. You know, so you can do it on a budget, but there's just, you know, some guidelines that you should stay within, and you know, just make the right choice there because they do have a huge impact on your day.
Love Glendalough. Like, if Glendalough was any better, it would just like totally buy China and Walmart. Like, they just would.